My tweet? Is this my tweet? Am I Zelensky?
Okay,
am I Zelensky?
Never mind, go ahead.
Am I Zelensky? Yes or no?
Yes.
I am
you
Zelensky.
Zelensky.
Let me finish or I'm banning you from my server. You always have infinite justifications for every actor to do whatever the fuck they want, but Israel has to be the crazy adult in the entirety of every single situation. This is unworkable. Right. No.
He said, why is Ukraine and Israel need to be the adults, need to be the ones adhering to
hold on, answer the question first. Fair enough. First.
I understand what you're saying, but you are the perfect representation of what I'm talking about.
Why?
Because everything you said has been mischaracterized, retarded. You think I criticize Hassan for his 9/11 takes? You think that the solution to...
So here's the setup. It's deep into the stream. Destiny and a challenger. Shervin, Iranian-American background, works in tech, self-described neoliberal, have been going back and forth for nearly an hour on Gaza, Hamas, the IDF, sanctions, aid sites. Heavy stuff. And then somebody pulls up a Zelensky tweet. The tweet is essentially Zelensky saying that no one should be allowed to block globally significant sea lanes. We know it's the Strait of Hormuz and Iran. Simple enough, right? Ukraine leader condemns Iran for threatening global shipping. Makes sense. Iran is literally supplying Russia with the Shaheds that bomb Ukrainian cities every night. But Shervin has a problem with it. His argument is that Zelensky is coming from a position of asymmetric power. He himself is the underdog in his own conflict. His own sovereignty is being violated by Russia. And yet he's tweeting something that essentially says Iran's sovereignty violations are unacceptable, without acknowledging that the framing of that tweet could just as easily be used against Ukraine. Destiny hears this, and his brain breaks in real time.
Pessimism about this is misplaced. I agree with you that in your chats, right, I think you're dealing with the most aggressive people, and Hassan's chat the most aggressive people. But at this point, a lot of your social media impact and your downstream impact is through clips, is through other things that are happening in the world, right? It's not necessarily... Why are you bringing up my tweet? What did I say? Yeah, okay, let's do it. You want to do this one?
Wait, did I bring something up? Wait, what?
Did you skip someone out?
I see one of my tweets.
I forgot I was streaming in here. Somebody brought this up. Don't worry about it. For real, you're good.
Well, you don't want to do that?
Brain broken. You're brain broken. It's fine. But you also said that you're Iranian. Are you Muslim or?
No, I'm not. Okay.
You're in America though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grew up in Jersey.
Okay, that's cool.
Do you want to do that one? We can. Why I'm upset at Zelensky for that?
Sure.
Let's hear it.
When we see his language about Iran, one of the things, and the same thing would be true if he said something about Gaza that was out of band. We would want to understand the relationship between
what did he say in here?
Power.
What did he say in here about Iran?
Let me reread the tweet.
Also, asymmetric power, bro. This is the lefties that attack me all the time that use this excuse, like, "Oh, we're a small."
I'm saying lefties. I'm a neoliberal.
No,
you really
I
can't
didn't
use
say.
that on me.
Can you listen to the words that I'm saying? I didn't say you're a lefty. I'm saying that these are the excuses that smaller loser content creators use all the time.
Don't use lefties next to me. Just critique me directly.
I'm not.
Okay, go ahead. Don't be mad, Destiny. It's okay.
I'm not critiquing you. I am critiquing you, but I'm saying that the argument that you're using here with regards to every Arab or Persian or Turkish person or whatever the fuck, everybody in the Middle East, is the same argument that the lefties use when they're harassing people on the internet, where they're saying, well, I'm a smaller content creator. I'm a smaller content creator. Therefore, I can say the most unhinged, deranged shit about you imaginable, but you can't say anything about me or else it's harassment because you're a larger content creator.
No, I didn't defend Iran saying something. I critiqued Zelensky for saying something. That's completely different than what you just said.
Reread this tweet and tell me what he said.
Was this the one I quoted?
Yes, hold on, I'll be back. Read Zelensky's tweet. Tell me what's objectively. Let me use the restroom. Hold on.
So first, Stephen, I think important context. I came here when I was a year old. My grandfather was the equivalent of the Attorney General for the Shah of Iran back in the day.
Okay.
And so I hate both the Shah's former version of Iran, based on my family's kind of retelling of the situation, as much as I hate the Islamic Republic. I think both were bad. The line here that is flawed is no one should be allowed to block such globally significant different sea lanes, whatever, where basically he's saying, what I read this as, and the thing I take issue with, is Iran is in the wrong, and whatever needs to happen next to prevent them from doing what they're doing is justified. That's what I read here. And I think that's flawed because what we're doing in Iran is a violation of sovereignty. Even if you hate, as I do, the Islamic Republic, and my family is essentially were under house arrest for, how many years was that? Like 12 years under the Islamic Republic post their participation in the Shah's regime. It is still true that the sovereignty of that country and of individuals in that country is violated, and the idea that Zelensky, who is at the other side of an asymmetry, would say, despite that fact, what they're doing is so wrong that it justifies further violation of their sovereignty, I think is completely crazy and a misunderstanding of how the same situation, our ability to have sovereign nations or sovereign populaces, is being violated in his situation. That's the flaw.
Gotcha.
What do you think about that?
It's easily one of the most brain-broken, retarded takes I've ever heard in my life. But
Why? Why?
the idea
brain-broken about
that
that?
appealing to the United Nations, first of all, which is the international body of law,
You
to
do not care about the
something
United Nations. Don't
Let him
pretend you
speak.
care about
Why
the
did you
Thank
just
you.
say you do not care about the United Nations?
Because the United Nations does not has not sanctioned for the past several
Is
years.
this my tweet? Is this my tweet? Am I Zelensky?
Okay, fine,
Am I
go ahead.
Zelensky?
Never mind. Go ahead.
Am I
Sorry.
Zelensky? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
I am
You
Zelensky.
are Vladimir Zelensky.
Okay, so you think that me, Zelensky, I don't care about the United Nations? Why? What evidence do you have of that? That I don't care about the United Nations? Have I done things to violate? Okay, thank you. So your
Well, hold
statement
on.
was
Why
retarded.
was-
You want to seriously engage, okay? So Zelensky is appealing to the United Nations to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz is not closed. He can't do that.
Wasn't
Why?
his only tweet about the conflict, or his only statement about the conflict? His other statement about conflict was very anti-regime, if I remember correctly.
Why the fuck? Okay, why the fuck?
By the way, it's justified because he's getting hit by stuff, obviously from Russia, that's being manufactured in Iran. I actually.
Then why would you even have a problem with any tweets?
Because I think he's missing the asymmetry in the two situations. I don't think he needed to tweet about this at all.
What asymmetry? You're an asymmetry cuck. Oh my god,
I am.
dude.
I
How tall
love-
are you?
5'10" and a half.
Can somebody who's 5'10" and a quarter rape your girlfriend, but it's okay because of the asymmetry between you and the guy? This is how fucking retarded your statements sound. Like
I didn't say everything is
Iran,
so-
because of asymmetry, can shut down one of the most important global oil outpourings in the entire world.
If Trump had nuked Iran afterwards and a kind of post fallout government closed the Strait of Hormuz as retaliation for the next 10 years, do you think that's justified?
No.
You're brain broken.
Okay.
If their population was nuked, they can't retaliate in some guise. So you don't expect blowback.
You think terrorism is justified if you're a small enough party? I just want you to know, and I know you're never going to understand this, and that's fine. And for the two people in the audience, every single Israeli will understand what I'm saying. None of your weird fucking pro-Pally dick sucks understand. But the line of argumentation that you're on right now is why Israel, past the second intifada, never listens to the rest of the world when they're critical of things that happen with
Why?
Israel. Because you will always make excuses for the retarded children Arabs, for the retarded children Hamas, for every single actor in that region to be a retarded fucking child who has no reaction in their kit beyond rape and terrorism and pillaging, and it's all justified.
Okay, wait, hold on. So
But
there's a useful
let me
distinction
finish.
here.
Let me finish, or I'm banning you from my server. You always have infinite justifications for every actor to do whatever the fuck they want. But Israel has to be the crazy adult in the entirety of every single situation. This is unworkable. Right. No sane country, no sane human being would operate under this rule set anywhere on the fucking planet. Nobody would do it.
So why do you think that we should take some illiberal means?
This is retarded. What a retarded fucking question. Do you think it's illiberal if somebody's breaking into my house and I kick him in the face and I didn't vote for it? I didn't have a Democratic panel. What are we talking about? What do you mean illiberal? What are we talking?
Aren't a lot of the debates recently, of what happens after Trump? We have to go outside of the bounds and norms that we would normally adhere to kind of restore a sense of-
conversations about my United States government usually revolve around concepts related to liberalism. Correct. We're not talking about international foreign policy with
what
wars
is
and
liberalism
everything.
about, right? Liberalism is about power hierarchy and the architecture of a system. That is what liberalism is entirely about. Right? And so if, for example, the higher order power in a power hierarchy violates a tremendous amount of the principles they are supposedly adhering to, then you would not be surprised. And you're right, there's this weird word I use, I don't know if I said justified or you said justified, but there is language that maybe I should be more careful about that upsets you around, okay, are we excusing something? Do we understand it?
Why are you saying that? Oh my God, how do you watch my stream? You're using, your characterization of my takes, my position is that you're using language that upsets me?
That was just a throwaway comment. Don't take it so harsh. So, but then we take it to the United States and you say it doesn't apply the same way. I'm not sure why it wouldn't apply the same way, right?
Because criticisms that I make of my own domestic government are going to be different than multiple governments that are interacting with each other on the global stage.
Of course, but the reason you make those criticisms, the reason you talk about changing the behavior around a set of norms is because the norms and the power hierarchy have been violated in a way where you say, look, this thing that we otherwise adhered to in the past no longer seems to be applying right now. And by the way, you're also doing this, geopolitically as it relates to Trump. You're not just doing it domestically as it relates to Trump, right? We're saying that people are reacting to essentially what is a violation, and we don't know what to expect next, right? That's one of the other problems. We don't know what to expect next if we do not somehow adhere back and put back together the order that previously allowed people to act as you would want them to.
Okay. Walk me from whatever you just said, that smorgasbord of stuff. Walk me from that to it's actually okay to shut down all of your neighboring shipping lanes if you have been illegally aggressed on by another
nation. I don't think
nation.
it's okay, and I don't remember how I asked that question. I don't think it would be okay.
If you don't think it's okay, then what would be wrong with Zelensky appealing to the United Nations to solve that problem when that is exactly the job of the United Nations?
Weren't we at this time violating the sovereignty for no clear reason because Netanyahu forced Trump to, and threatening to do all sorts of other things to them? Yeah, and in that situation, you essentially have someone you've backed into a wall, and I think Zelensky should be kind of understanding of being backed into a wall, and his message here does not seem to acknowledge how this same tweet could be said about him.
But it can't be said about him. What is Ukraine shut down internationally?
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if we would find analogies, would you?
Actually, there's one really good one. I'm glad you didn't bring it up, so let's just keep moving on.
Could you bring it up?
No, I'm good. No, because I don't like giving you guys stronger arguments for anything.
Stop saying you guys, I'm just me.
You are you guys, for sure.
Okay, but what is it?
You should have said the Nord Stream 2.
Oh, damn. You're right.
However, but the difference is, you can see, it really is a great analogy. It almost works for you, but if I mind torture it a bit, it works for me. The Nord Stream 2 is a great example because, one, there's a reason why Ukraine didn't openly take credit for that. Two, now I don't know how true this is, but I think the current argument or position is that Zelensky wasn't even aware of the Nord Stream 2 being shut down. Okay, number two. But number three, the world was critical when that was shut down. And number four, nobody has made any statements whatsoever that were saying that Ukraine is justified in destroying that pipeline. Like, you're sucking Iran right now, that is a state sponsor of terrorism all across the region, that is actively shipping things. Like, the situation is so unbelievably.
Could you go back to my tweet? Could you press the back button real quick?
Okay. What?
I don't think I said here that we should abandon Ukraine or Zelensky whatsoever. I'm a huge fan of his, and I have absolutely no idea why you would assume that I would suddenly say that this means...
fuck this tweet for real, bro.
Yes.
You're saying this because you saw it probably from Mehdi. Yeah, but I don't know what is so objectionable or condemnable about the particular tweet.
And just when you think the debate can't get more intense, Ukrainian Anna joins the call. Her city is being bombed. Not metaphorically, not historically, actively, with Shahed drones, manufactured in Iran, raining down on her city while she is on a live stream debate about a tweet. She asks Shervin directly, in a voice that is barely keeping it together. Iran has fully sponsored Russia in this war. They are literally the reason we are hit by 50,000 Shahed drones. Tell me, on what God-given earth, how should we say anything that protects that regime? Shervin's response is measured. He says he fully supports Ukraine. He says we should be sending more money, more weapons. He says his problem is not with Ukraine, it's with the specific language of the tweet, which he believes doesn't acknowledge the complexity of the situation.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I ask a serious question? I'm trying to be not mad right now, but Iran sponsored Russia in the war against us. They're also quite literally the reason why we have been attacked by 50,000 Shahed drones, which daily bomb our cities. Daily, every day, my city is terrorized by those Shaheds. So please tell me, on fucking God-given earth, how do you even assume that we should say anything that will be against the destruction of that regime? I'm serious right now. Russia uses Iran. Is that legal? Is that fine?
Do you think that Iran should be nuked?
No, neither does Zelensky.
Exactly. I have my opinions exist on a spectrum, right? And so I'm not suggesting at all that Iran is right in what they do against Ukraine. I'm so completely supportive of Ukraine, and I think we should be spending so much more money than we are and sending so much more support.
It's not what I'm talking about. Why is it wrong for us to not to appeal to United Nations and also support the destruction of this regime?
I think maybe it's the language, and this is why I said fuck this tweet, right? It's the language that presumes that an actor that is currently being pressured in a way that is, by the way, just like Ukraine.
Pressure them.
Look, I get what you mean there as someone who cares about the Ukrainian conflict. And by the way, I probably care more about, kind of the Ukrainian conflict than I do. Huh?
This the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Or why it relates to the tweet. Why does that relate to the tweet?
Everything. That regime is doing a shit ton of.
Does that mean we should nuke them? Does that mean we should nuke them?
They didn't get nuked. Nobody's talking about nuking them.
Right, but this is all exists on a spectrum, right? So just because they're a state sponsor of terrorism, or just because Hamas exists in Gaza, does not excuse every action you take against the sovereignty of a nation. If we excused every action you take against the sovereignty of a nation because they violate some principle of some other nation or some other nations, we would have a problem.
Nobody is saying that it would excuse every action
against Iran.
The question
did he say that because they sponsored fucking Russia and we are daily bombed by them and they sponsor every fucking dog shit terrorist organization in the world, did he say that we should nuke them?
I think it would be useful to think about it this way. The people who have sympathies of a kind for the sovereignty of Iran and the sovereignty of a nation don't necessarily have to agree on what Iran should look like or Ukraine looks like post these wars. But they can agree that right now, these are two nations whose sovereignties are being violated in a way that bothers our higher order sensibilities.
It's offensive. It's offensive. What did we do that our sovereignty was infringed upon? What the fuck they do? It's a big difference, my guy. Is it not?
I didn't say it was the same thing at all. I think you're getting properly excited about the fact that this is about Zelensky's tweet, but this is one of I don't know how many tweets I made. I think he shouldn't have tweeted this. That doesn't mean I think we should remove support from Ukraine. That doesn't mean I think we should change anything. I think we should go further. This tweet was still not an acknowledgement.
I'm talking about the tweet. I never accused you that you said because of this tweet we need to remove
but
support.
You keep asking me as if I'm not making a difference or distinction between them. I think they're very different and distinct.
Apparently not, because you're saying that
there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of that, right? You said you are talking about my tweet. My tweet is a tweet about how I don't like the language in his tweet. That does not mean that I'm equating Iran and Ukraine.
In terms of sovereignty infringement, they're not.
That's why I think the tweet is flawed. That's not why I'm equating the two geopolitical situations. That's why I think the tweet is flawed.
You lost me on that one, buddy.
Fair enough.
I don't understand. Like, I'm bringing up what you said about this. You said the tweet is flawed because you say that in both cases this is about infringement of a sovereignty of the country, and Zelensky apparently is allegedly a saint in your eyes who needs to think that any infringement upon sovereignty, even of our dreadful enemy, is a incredibly comparable situation, and he should be on the side of Iran in that question.
I think it would be naive to ignore the fact that a lot of both of these situations are bad in ways that you and I would probably agree on because of Donald Trump. And because of the decisions that he's making geopolitically, right? And so when you say what you just said to me, I think you are ignoring what I'm reacting to as someone domestically, which is that Trump is making a universe of bad decisions when it comes to sovereignty. By the way, bringing Zelensky to the White House or whenever he talks about Zelensky in a way that violates Ukraine's sovereignty. And I think it'd be good for Zelensky to be cognizant that sovereignty arguments are good for him right now and good for all of us right now. And so when you talk about what we're kind of seeing in this tweet, it's a recognition, right, that essentially what Zelensky wants to make right now is a sovereignty argument, and Trump and Netanyahu to some extent and Putin to some extent, but that trifecta, relying on Trump, relying on domestic enablement of Trump in the United States, is violating sovereignties in other places of the world.
I listened to all of that and I still don't see, to be honest with you, how it connects with.
What do you agree that he is violating sovereignties in a way that is novel?
Who?
Trump.
I wouldn't say that he violated. I don't know why you said that he violated Ukrainian sovereignty.
He is not reacting appropriately to the violation of Ukrainian sovereignty. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sure, that's true. Yeah, but you said that they, a little bit different. But anyway, I don't like how he treats that. Obviously, right. That's pretty clear, I think, to everyone. But
Great.
yeah, it's just not the question that I just don't see the connection between those two
Wait,
things.
so then, even if you then think whatever you think about the Iranian regime, which I probably mostly agree with you when they're not being actively threatened to be nuked, would you also agree that the way Netanyahu is treating the situation, even if you like support the potential outcome, right? We have to think about process from outcome here. Would you agree that the process by which Netanyahu is undertaking the attacks on Iranian sovereignty are taking advantage of the same Trumpian impulses in this moment about sovereignty?
If Iranian regime fell,
Well, hold on, let's not go to
whatever
outcomes. Hold on, we can't go to outcomes. We have to talk about process.
process, dude, it's just what Destiny said. I didn't want to be that rude, okay, but she said, why is Ukraine and Israel need to be the adults, need to be the ones adhering
Hold
to
on, answer the
everything,
question first.
but
Fair
Iraq
enough.
doesn't need to be.
But do you agree that Trump is taking a similar approach to sovereignty when it comes to how he is enabling or even attacking on behalf of Netanyahu Iranian sovereignty? Do you think that's taking advantage of the same impulses that Trump has as it relates to sovereignty?
The thing about these debates that nobody wants to admit is that most of the time, not always, but most of the time, both sides are fighting at full volume over something they actually mostly agree on. Shervin supports Ukraine. Destiny agrees Israel has gone too far. The Ukrainian woman doesn't want Iran nuked. Nobody at the table wants the world to burn. But agreement on the big things doesn't make for a debate. So we fight over the small things, the tweet, the wording, the timing, the framing. We make it philosophical. We make it personal. We bring in history and sovereignty and power dynamics and family trauma. And many minutes later, we're exactly where we started. That is not unique to this debate. That is the internet. That is cable news. That is every Thanksgiving dinner for the last 10 years. We are very good at fighting. We are very bad at hearing. Zelensky tweeted. The world argued. The drones kept flying. Find the link to the full debate in the show notes. Drop your take in the comments. Was Shervin right? Was Destiny being fair? And was the tweet even worth this? See you next episode.